Snoquera is this really exciting landscape scale restoration project. And it's exciting because it's across multiple watersheds, it's across multiple jurisdictions, but it's really taking account to what's best for the landscape.
What we're really seeing here with the Snoquera Landscape Project are the benefits to an all-hands approach to restoration planning at a landscape level. Each stakeholder brings a unique set of skills that benefits the entire group.
And what makes the Mt.Baker unique is that its proximity to the Seattle creates sort of an atmosphere of it's the backyard. And so in order for work to be accomplished in this kind of landscape, there are a lot of folks who are very engaged and interested. What that means is it takes time to get things through. And the Mt.Baker did an amazing job of navigating that.
What we're trying to do is take that interest and that the stake that people have in this area and build on momentum forward in our partners' ability, which they have a high ability and a high competency to take on some of these complex projects.
The Snoquera project is a diverse partnership of agency staff, nonprofits, tribal nations. It really truly takes a village to achieve all of the restoration outcomes that are set forth in the Snoquera analysis plan. Restoring almost 200,000 acres of land and water is no small feat. And it's our privilege to be a part of this project and just one of the many partners that do this work.
What's really working well is the amount of people coming together around this. I mean, I sort of live in the fish world, so my head is usually down in the water, but actually working with all these partners, like the forest, like Conservation Northwest, like Trout Unlimited, to bring all those different sort of disciplines together to really look at this ecosystem as a whole. It just couldn't, the projects couldn't be done at this scale or at this level of sophistication without that collaborative partnership working together.
For Conservation Northwest, some of our largest priorities are intact landscapes and habitat for terrestrial wildlife. And we've really seen Snoquera as an opportunity to connect large patches of late successional reserve or old growth characteristic forest to make improvements on the landscape.
The White River watershed is super high priority habitat for spring run Chinook salmon, of which the White River subpopulation is the last remaining spring run in the South Puget Sound region. So it's super important to recover the subpopulation in order to achieve delisting of the species.
When a culvert is unable to handle a high winter flow event, it often results in a road failure. This causes further damage to the downstream ecosystem. It also represents barriers to things like recreation, fire suppression, and even future restoration projects. So by creating a more resilient transportation network, we're actually indirectly investing in the entire ecosystem.
So the Snoquera project is the first ever landscape scale project on U.S. Forest Service land that is specifically focused on salmon and watershed recovery. It's a groundbreaking project, and we also see it as a proof of concept project where if we can show the successful outcomes of all of this work, we hope to, us and our partners hope to work with the Forest Service in future to apply this model to other spaces all over Western Washington and across other public lands in the United States.
One of the things that I'm really excited about is, even though we're all talking about how exciting is this big landscape scale restoration across multiple watersheds, 2 different counties, it's also a little daunting. And so one of the things that we really did at Blue Forest that we kind of helped the forest with and others is thinking about, well, where do we start? And so it was identifying the lower green water and saying, okay, let's start with this watershed, see what we can do, and then how can we replicate across all of the other watersheds? And so I'm excited to see so much work happening on the lower green water, starting now with implementation, with planning, with design, and it's really going to make a big impact in this one watershed, which is still cross-boundary. And so how can we then scale that across the entire project area?
Conservation Northwest became involved in the Snoquera project through kind of tracking the development of the large landscape analysis on our public lands. And it really overlapped well with our goals of protect, connect, and restore wildlands and wildlife.
When you know, the lower Puget Sound basins are having problems and all the metropolitan agricultural impacts that we see, it's the national forest lands that become the refuge for fishes, for other aquatic organisms, other wildlife. And so that's what we're trying to do as a whole, and bring all of that together and understand the interplay. So one project is connected to another project, which is connected to another project across the whole sector of a watershed. And if I were to do all of those projects and complete those restoration actions, I should be able to take 80% or greater step towards a better, much better, improved watershed function in the future that is much more resilient to what we're going to face in climate change and what we are facing in our native fish depletions and those impacts. And so that's a big aspect of Snoquera.